Brilliance Audio.
Chick Magnet by Emma Barry. Performed by C.J. Bloom and Aaron Shedlock. Nic began inching down the alley sideways. Please let there not be snakes. There weren't enough. Stones. Or sunlight. Snakes liked stones and sunlight, right? Once Nic had made it about 20 feet, Mitzi materialized under a large fern frond. She made a bobbing twirl that carried the air of nanny nanny boo boo. But all the bravado was hollow because Mitzi's feathers were sodden. Nic only had to get on the other side of her and drive her toward the Viking. You're a damn nuisance. Peck, peck, peck. You can make it up to me, though. Let me get past you. Peck, peck, peck. Okay, do we all understand our roles here? Peck if you do. Peck, peck, peck. Let's go, then. Nic made to grab the chicken's feet, but Mitzi dodged. Then Nic made the best squall she could. Mitzi's eyes widened at the sound, and she tossed her head to one side, and then the other, and began to run. No, up! Fast as she could, Nic lunged forward and down. One of her hands brushed a claw, which drove the hen up. The ground was slick, and Nic powered straight under her. For a long second, Nic slid on the wet ferns and grass and weeds, but she finally managed to grab the fence on either side. That was going to give her splinters. To stop herself before pivoting and starting toward the hen and the Viking. Having completed the biggest, or at least the highest, flight of her life, Mitzi was completely disoriented. She was making the raptor call she uttered when she opened the egg box, and she was laying, all rage and confusion and ancestral swagger. Mitzi leaped again, smacked into Nic's fence, and landed on the ground. Without pausing to recover, she started down the alley in earnest toward the wet-waiting neighbor. "It's working!" Nic bellowed. But before she could get the rest of the sentence out, the Viking came crashing into the alley. Mitzi squealed, and then she launched herself straight into his chest, which was when something extraordinary happened. He caught her. Those enormous hands of his wrapped tightly, securely, perfectly around the hen. Mitzi let go of a huge breath and sagged as if to say, "Thank goodness. I'm so relieved. I was wondering how long it was going to take for you to get me." Nic pushed her stringy hair out of her face. "Holy crap! You did it! You did it!" Now she actually felt like doing some cheering. "I thought we were going to have to put her on the FBI's most wanted list or something." "Let's get her caged." They edged out of the easement. He honestly didn't fit into the space at all. And then into Nic's backyard. When she opened the gate to the chicken yard, he released Mitzi before snapping the door closed with almost comic haste. Nic snorted, though obviously neither of them wanted to risk a repeat performance. The flock immediately surrounded Mitzi, clucking loudly, no doubt asking for every detail of her walkabout. "I can't see how she got out," Nic said. The run was fully enclosed. There was even chicken wire on the ground, and there weren't any gaps or tears in the fencing. Nic had sent a detailed plan to the contractor she'd hired, and he'd done a good job. The Viking shrugged. His expression was shuttered, his hair plastered to his head, his shoulders sagging, and his shirt almost black. Well, at least she knew Brian hadn't broken her totally. She could still notice an attractive man and feel as if someday she'd like to tangle with one of those again. But she merely said, "I really appreciate you helping me, especially since... just, thank you." The polite thing would have been for him to respond, "You're welcome," or even, "No problem." Hell, she would have taken a shrug. Except, Vikings weren't people-pleasers. After a few seconds that could best be described as aggrieved scowling, he took his fine wet butt across her backyard to the gate and away from her. "Good riddance," she whispered after him. Nic had had quite enough arrogant men for a lifetime. From now on, she was going to stick to chickens.